Hello, everyone.
Caleb, welcome the fuck back.
It's good to have you back. Tell us why old George Floyd's still alive.
Yeah, let's keep
Caleb.
this rolling. This old 80 view thing we're getting on YouTube.
I don't know if he's alive or not. But I was just looking at stuff today because I'd heard someone say something about that he was a Freemason, and that piqued my interest. And I was like, well, I want to look into that and see. And there's some pretty good evidence that he was a Freemason, was involved with that. His chest tattoo was, Freemason symbol that stood for peace out of chaos.
Yeah.
And
what is that symbol?
it's like a big eagle. That's the actual symbol is a double-headed eagle holding a broadsword in its talons, and it has a 33 in the center of the eagle's chest. And there's like a banner around it that says like peace out of chaos in Latin. I don't remember the Latin for it.
Yeah.
George Floyd's tattoo was a single-headed eagle, wings spread, clutching an AK-47, which actually fucking is a dope-ass tattoo. Like, that's just sick as hell already. But 33 in the middle of the eagle's chest.
Yeah.
No banner or anything like that. But, I mean, obviously, I saw some people on Reddit saying, well, that's ridiculous. That's not even close to the symbol, and then describing the symbol like these people don't already know what the symbol is. And it's like, you can obviously like change it and customize it to what you like. As this is a tattoo. People, they take creative liberties with tattoos all the time.
And also, what the fuck
like
did the 33 man? You were a Scottie Pippen fan,
right?
What's that mean?
Yeah,
yeah.
But
that's the end of it.
Yeah.
He was really big into Scottie Pippen. But there's pictures of him at a party, and there's two guys standing there, and they're both like holding up kind of like the OK symbol that they
like
said was
Joe
white
Rogan
power.
Does.
Yeah, like they
Joe
claim
Rogan
when white people do it, it means white power. But they're standing there doing it, but they were like they were each had one hand out, and they were kind of putting them together. And so their hands were really
3-3.
close, and they were 3-3, and he's standing in the background, and like in between them, and somebody else in the background was doing some type of symbol, like Masonic symbol, and the details on this part I'm not precise on, but I did see the photo. That was a Twitter post by either his son or one of his family members, and they were either claiming that him or his grandfather was like a 33rd degree Mason in the Houston area, and like was the leader of the lodge, and had the like Mason banner over his casket, and was like praying for all of his Mason brothers out there, and then that post got deleted. But people screenshotted it, so like the picture's still circulating, but it's not on Twitter anymore, wherever it was originally posted. But I just thought all that was really interesting, and I mean, not every person who's a Freemason is a bad person or corrupt or involved in any kind of. But the Freemasons as a whole are controlling a lot of shit.
Oh yeah,
I mean you could say that they're the deep state, the Illuminati.
It could be
at least a limb of it.
They are in every town, no matter how small your town is. There's a Masonic lodge there.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. And
everywhere.
They are in all levels of government, from your smallest local government all the way up.
Yep.
That in and of itself is a little weird.
It's odd, yeah.
Yeah, it's odd.
And people were making kind of stretches about he was a rapper in Houston for a time. George Floyd was. Mm-hmm. He worked with some people some of the same like people that rappers like Bun B worked with, and a couple of other rappers who went on to become really famous rappers. And Bun B, like I watched a video of Bun B talking about how he probably had been in the same room with him, like, but didn't realize until now. But knowing the facts about how he worked with him or they had worked with some of the same people around
Yeah.
the same time. He's like, I know we had to have crossed paths, but people were making stretches like, oh, so he's obviously deeply connected with stuff. He did porn and he was a rapper, so he's obviously deeply connected.
What does that mean?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I have no idea. Like,
I'm sure there's a lot of people do porn, and
yeah,
they all
they're
connected.
They're not all in the deep state.
Yeah.
Like, what does that have to do with anything? But
Jenna Jameson did porn. I'm pretty sure she was a big Trump fan.
yeah, I mean, that was when I read that whole aspect of it. I was like, that's fucking ridiculous. That has nothing to do with it.
Did porn, obviously. He's in the deep state.
Yeah, gotta be.
So I'm going to turn on.
I don't even think you could claim he was an actor. You know what I mean? Like,
No.
You're not. Yeah, I mean, like, sorry to any porn stars out there, but you're not You're not actors. Like, you're not. But so that was fucking stupid. But like,
what do you want to say, Dan?
The porn community's gonna come after us on that one.
good.
You motherfuckers.
That's fine. I've been coming after them for a long time. I lost what I was trying to say, but no, that whole part of it was fucking stupid, but the weird, all the other weird shit that's not lining up, like when they picked him up and threw him on the stretcher and put him in the ambulance, it was 2 fully armed police officers.
Yeah, that makes
no
no sense.
EMTs.
No,
Never heard of that
These
before.
guys had bulletproof vests on. They were police
Yeah.
officers.
Yeah.
They were just in brown suits instead of the blue ones that
You
those
had
guys
sent
were.
that article, Jason, that was like 22 things that don't
Yeah.
add up with all that, and I remember a few of them. Like, one was like the officer who killed him and his partner, which I think was the Asian gentleman who was standing there, not on top of George Floyd. Their badges were different.
Do you know why that is?
No.
Okay, so I figured this out. Like, so they've charged that guy with, like, a secondary murder, the Derek Chauvin guy or whatever.
Yeah.
And the other 3 they've charged with, I think, manslaughter.
Okay.
Which, this will be very controversial, but 2 of those officers, the Asian one being one of them, they were trainees, and that was their 3rd day on the job. So that's why they had the little embroidered thing, because
Okay.
they hadn't even had their...
They had their
And that's what I
official badge.
was trying to
that's
talk to
weird,
Tim
though, man, 'cause-
today
Go
about
ahead.
it, and because I was like, man, you're in the military, that's closer than the police. I was like, I wanted to ask him, but he had to get off the phone. Like, I don't really think those dudes should be charged any more than the other people. Look, because I mean,
If
let's
that's the
say you're
case,
a
yeah.
cop, and like it's your 3rd day, and this dude's been on the force for 20 years, and he's training you. Like, they voiced their op, like, man, should we check his pulse? Is he all right? But like, what are you gonna do? Are you, as a trainee, are you gonna tackle that guy off there?
You should.
Like,
because you
I
know
think
what's
you should.
moral and what isn't.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you should, yeah, but so did the other people standing around. So should
Yeah,
everybody
but-
be charged?
But they would have
They're-
immediately been shot
Yeah,
by
they
every
would've
other
shot
cop
those.
standing
Well,
around.
let me play
The
devil's
officer
advocate.
wouldn't have done that. They
And I
wouldn't have
hate-
shot a fellow officer.
I hate
just for,
police, but like, let me just play devil's advocate for a minute. So let's say that dude the Asian guy had like whatever, asked him about that, he said no, and then he had challenged him and like tackled him off the guy. What do you think would have ensued after that? Like, all those people around, I bet it would have been a free for all on those cops.
Maybe,
Maybe.
but the other cops would have. Here's the thing, George Floyd. Depending on when when it happened, he was unconscious for a lot of it, but he was immobilized and his spirits were broken. They had been on top of him for long enough. He was handcuffed. Like, the other cops would have immediately jumped up, pulled their guns on all of the civilians, and held them back, because that's the first thing they do is pull their guns on civilians. That would have been all of their first thought was, we need to keep our officers safe, even though they're fighting amongst each other. And they would have surrounded the 2 officers fighting and pointed their guns at everyone else and said, "Get the fuck back!" I swear that's what they would have done.
Maybe, but like I also like just the human aspect of these 2 cops. Like, that's a real high stress thing. Like, these people have not been, they don't have the experience that those other people have. Like,
Or there's a deeper conspiracy. And
Okay,
they,
well,
they
maybe
weren't
there
actually
is.
cops.
maybe there is.
That's
like,
why
maybe,
they were new to the force,
maybe
because
that's
they're just
maybe that's all true. But let's say that we're going with the official story.
Okay.
I just don't know. I can't really charge those guys with murder. Like, because I don't know, they didn't do it, A, and B, I would think that in that case, I'm just trying to put myself in that position. Like, if I had joined that, there's this intense thing going on. This guy's been doing it for 20 years. He's telling me everything's fine. This is what we're supposed to do. Like, I just don't know. I don't know if I would have, like you said, it would have been the right thing to tackle the guy off of him. But I don't know how many people would have done that. And to charge them with murder for not having done that, I don't know.
I just disagree. I think they should. They're accessories to that crime.
Maybe.
So too.
I mean, like being complicit, like, you know, inaction is just as bad sometimes. And
So, like, okay, so if you're, let me ask this: if you're if there was another dude standing around and he agreed with what the police were doing, but he wasn't a cop, is he complicit?
he's not involved in the situation.
Yeah,
He's not being paid to be involved in that situation.
yeah.
He's
I
not
just
on
don't.
the job to protect and serve, and which they don't actually have to protect. The Supreme Court ruled that they don't have to actually protect people's
Well, I
lives.
mean, they're not doing that now. That's.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
don't-
did you guys
they don't
see
have to
the
legally.
guy? I don't remember what city it was in, but basically there was like this. The mob of rioters was coming, and the police were standing. So there was a mob, and the police were standing kind of off to the side, and the mob was like down the street from this black dude's business. And he goes to the police, and he's like, "Guys, listen, the mob's coming. You got to stop them. They're going to burn my business down." And he trusted the guy to do that, and then, or he, I guess, trusted the cops to do that, and then
Yeah,
they just
and
didn't. Yeah, they just let them burn the thing down.
Yep.
And that's that. I don't know. Getting off topic from what you wanted to talk about, but like that's part of the thing I was with anarchy. Like, for it to work, people have to know they're the ones that are in charge of their safety.
Yeah.
Like, if they still trust the police to do that, then you're going to do what that guy did, and you're going to get screwed.
Yep. Yeah,
But-
I mean it's ridiculous, man. I don't know. It's just like it's one of those things where whether George Floyd, that situation is a conspiracy or not, those types of atrocities happen all the time by the police.
Yeah.
It's not a one-sided race thing. I'm sure a lot of them are racially motivated, but the cops fuck with people. That's what they do. That's what we pay them to do, is to fuck us, you know. And it's like, so I mean, I thought it was interesting and worth looking into, the George Floyd stuff, but it's also like, you know, I don't want to, if the guy is dead and was just trying to, you know, pass off a counterfeit $20 bill, man,
Then he may not have known.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
would you know if you had a counterfeit
Yeah,
20?
I mean, like, you don't always know if it's decent.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
No.
and even if he did, he does not deserve to die. He didn't
No.
even if he didn't have died, he wouldn't have deserved to be treated that way and thrown to the ground.
Yeah.
For essentially not, he never fucking resisted that I ever saw on any of the tapes, you know.
Yeah.
But
Now, I haven't seen it, but I've seen people talk about that there's a longer tape where, like, in that, I know they were talking about him being on different drugs or whatever, but, like, and I need to go see if I can find this. I think it's kind of hard to find, but there's a longer one that shows him, like, apparently, like, he didn't resist, and he was standing up before anybody was on him, and he was saying he couldn't breathe or whatever, and kind of freaking out, and they put him in the cop car, this is what I've heard they said, and then he started trying to kick the window out of it, and that's when they pulled him out and did what they did. But I don't know. It's also weird because they said, what was he on, like, fentanyl? Like, did you see this?
I didn't see. I heard that
They
they were saying he was on drugs,
and,
but I
like,
didn't see.
trace something else, but that crap doesn't make you act like you're on PCP or something. Like,
You're on
that calms
fentanyl,
you
you're
down.
not,
Yeah,
you're not moving.
Yeah.
You're
So I don't
fucked
know.
up.
That
Like,
part doesn't seem to
Yeah.
jive or whatever.
Where did you get the information that old Asian cop was just a new guy?
It's like in the news, like him and one of the other
What
ones.
I just read in videos I'd seen before, he's been there since 2012. He's had multiple complaints on him because of other things that he's done.
And see, that was one thing I was going to mention is even if he was a new trainee or like a new cop, and he was being trained by this guy, he would have known the reputation this guy had, who apparently, according to the records, had like 18 complaints against him for excessive force, and I think he's already killed 3 or 4 people in the line of duty.
Yeah.
Which the only one that I know the details of was Justified, but maybe
Still, man, like how many times? How is it? You've killed 3 or 4 people in the line of duty. That's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Like, how much shit have you been involved in?
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, then there's the whole weird thing of like his neighbors saying that they didn't even know he was a cop, and it's like, but I don't know. I haven't really looked. That's like, I feel like there's a lot of documentation proving that he's a cop, and there's just neighbors being not very observant.
Sure.
Going, well, we didn't think he was a cop because we never saw him. Like,
Right.
maybe you weren't fucking looking at the right time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that Asian cop was a trainee, which still would beg the question: why do they have 2 different badges on? If he's not,
yeah, and that was like, it said something about, I think that the cop that killed George Floyd had a
the badge
double
looked
badge.
like it was over top of the patch.
Yeah.
The other weird thing is that the license plate on the police car just said police. It wasn't a fucking license plate.
I saw that. Like, people were saying that on Twitter, but then there were like some people that were from Minneapolis, and they were like, "Hey guys, every license plate in Minneapolis for a cop says police."
That's fucked.
I don't know. That was just people on
That's
Twitter
weird.
like saying that that's just what they're saying.
Gotcha.
That is weird, though. I heard, and I haven't looked into this at all, but I heard in one of the videos I watched earlier today, someone say that the mayor of Minneapolis is like in the deep state, like for real in the deep state. And this wasn't one of the people who was saying the rap and porn connections. It wasn't
Right.
one of those
Yeah.
crazy people that was making ridiculous leaps.
So, like, that's what I was gonna say when we were in there a minute ago. But like, so I wonder, have you guys noticed? I don't know how much news you've watched or like seen like mainstream people talk about this, but everybody keeps referring to these, like, to the rioters as anarchists, anarchists. That's the word they're using.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like, that's weird because Antifa doesn't even say that they're anarchists. Like, it seems like they're pushing that. So I was wondering with this whole, and that, I don't know, we were talking about this earlier, but just to catch everybody up, if there's anybody still listening at this point, apparently like the Minneapolis City Council is just like voted like with a veto-proof majority to disband the police force, which is whatever. But like, I'm wondering if that's not going to be there will be just chaos there now,
And they'll call it
and
anarchy.
then and they'll call it anarchy, and that's to demean or
Absolutely.
to just
Anarchy is
It's
the
just
biggest
gonna
thing that the
ingrain-
government is afraid of, man.
Yeah.
Because it's the only thing.
Because it means no masters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Not
so they
chaos.
want to give that the worst name they possibly can, and put that label on the fucking hoodlums that run around and take advantage of situations and loot things. And it's,
And I swear,
That shit
like,
pisses
a
me
lot
off.
of that shit is being instigated by cops. A lot of the violence in these riots, these peaceful protests where they're going on peaceful, and then some mass dude who's like just shady and acting weird, and then like later on, and this happened in multiple different cities where people are like, these are fucking undercover cops that are out here starting shit with people so that the police have an excuse to attack us. Like, James Freeman was in Dallas when they were rioting, and they just started shooting tear gas at peaceful protesters for no reason. There were people across the street who were throwing bricks at cop cars and doing stuff, but everybody else was standing there just chanting, just being peaceful, and they started shooting tear gas at them.
So I looked it up, and the reason you found that on that is because when it was being described to me, it was the Asian guy. Apparently, there were 2 Asian guys.
Oh, okay.
So that guy
So
had
not
been
the
on
guy
there
that
for a
was
while.
standing
The
there
guy
and
whose
making
face
the
everybody
video.
saw.
Yeah.
That dude had been there for a while, but the other 2,
had not. We didn't see their badges.
no.
All we saw was his name's like
Huang. There's
Teo Towel.
yeah, that's the
something
guy
like
that had been there for a while.
Yes, that's the
So-
guy we see, right?
Yeah.
He's the
Is
one.
he not the partner of...
He's the partner of Chauvin.
Yeah, but the other 2
And
that
they
were
had 2 different
training-
badges on, though.
Yeah, so
That's what's weird.
So it's the attorney apparently was arguing for him that there should be different whatever because The defense counsel for Lane and Quang said, on the day that Floyd was killed, Lane had been on the MPD only 4 days, and Quang was in the middle of only his third full shift on duty.
I mean, that is crazy, but like they were on that dude's body, and he kept saying what he was saying. He even said,
He passed out.
"I'm gonna get up, let me up," and they said, "Well, get up," but they didn't get off his neck.
Yeah, they should.
How do you get up?
If he was saying
With
he couldn't breathe before they put him down, like why would they put him down? And maybe he was maybe that, I don't know. I've never done any of that, but like maybe he was like having a bad reaction to the drugs, and he was in the car and felt like he was suffocating. That's why he was trying to kick the.
Yeah, I mean,
thing
like,
out.
Maybe.
Yeah, but
But
of
he
that
wasn't
is
acting
really
aggressive.
irrelevant. Like,
He wasn't acting aggressive to the police from everything that I've seen.
yeah,
So like I don't understand. I mean, anybody if they feel like that's gonna have, I don't know.
yeah,
Like, I mean, if you feel like you actually can't breathe, you're probably going to be freaking out a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah, it turns into a panic attack.
yeah, for sure. I saw a dumb thing, and I looked at the pictures, and I was like, God, people just keep making stretches. And like, I do think that there might be some overarching conspiracy behind this whole George Floyd thing, with the timing of everything, with all the weird things that have all the weird facts about the case that people do know. But there was someone saying that like Chauvin's mugshot and from the video, his hairline is different, so it's not the same person. And
His
it's
hairline
like,
is different.
It's not. It's not. It's not different.
It's slightly different, but it's just a different angle, different lighting is what it is.
And it was
Biden's ears change
you
on
know.
a daily basis.
I mean, it was a few. It really just looked like a few days growth, and it kind of maybe a little bit was hanging down, and it changed the shape of his hairline.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, but the narrative behind it, and the reason like you start to think and believe the conspiracy stuff, or at least entertain it, is because it's so ridiculous, the reaction to it, and like how it can be used. Like one of Katie's friends on Facebook is married to an African American guy, and he was on Facebook saying, if you're white, that it's not enough to voice support for the minority communities. It's not enough to even go march with them. If you're white and you're not actively doing things for and giving things to people of color, you're part of the problem.
I mean,
so you want special treatment?
ridiculous.
Yes. Well, that's the whole narrative of that crap, from like that America's wealth was built on the back of slaves or whatever, and that every white person is benefiting from that, is absolutely ridiculous.
insane.
Like,
course
because like, I mean, I'm not saying that they're, and I was talking to Tim about it, and he was talking about, he was at this rodeo, and he was like, man, they're like, he said there is a segment of a lot of old money that's around from like, this family had this ranch in Kentucky of 600 acres, and it's been in the family ever since like the 1700s or something. But like most people that have money, like they haven't just inherited it.
No.
Like, it's like, I mean, we make fun of John for having money or whatever, but like he's earned it all. His
Oh, yeah.
parents
Yeah.
like had nothing.
Right.
He lived.
He grew up
Yeah.
dirt poor. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, and like it's just not
like thousands and thousands of other African Americans who are also extremely wealthy and are doing
Yeah.
incredibly well in the United States of America. Like,
Yeah.
it's, you work hard and you put your priorities and your goals in the right place, you can make it. You can make it. There's nothing holding you back but you.
yeah.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I agree with that.
one thing I was gonna say though, this was a weird thing that I hadn't heard about, but within, I think, a span of 3 or 4 days from, like, I think George Floyd, like from the day that he died, in the next 3 or 4 days, there were 2 other black guys that got killed in other countries the exact same way. Knee to the neck, suffocated to death. Like, I saw a picture of one. I think it was there's one from Madrid and one from somewhere else. I can't remember, but I'm not sure exactly where the picture was from, but I think it was from the one from Madrid. And I mean, the pictures were next to each other, and it just looked like the identical scene. Like
That's
a
weird.
cop with his knee on the back of this black guy's neck, choking him to death, and a cop or two holding him down.
Yeah.
And that happened, like I said, within 2 or 3 days. 3 different black guys were killed across the world the same exact way. That's weird.
It is weird.
And I mean, okay, 7 billion people on the planet. Coincidence, that could be. But, like, it's just fucking weird. It's another weird fact about this whole shit. It's, like, it's interesting.
It was 3 too. 3 total.
And just talking to Tim, like he was like,
3,
man,
33. 3 plus 3.
it's Scottie Pippen.
666. It all fucking works.
Yeah.
Some of that numerology shit I just cannot give.
I can't give.
Especially when they're like, if you look at Michael Jordan's stats, you
Yeah.
can see it in there. I just see that picture of like, what's his name from It's Always Sunny on Philadelphia. He's like bloodshot with that cigarette and he's pointing at this board with all that.
Charlie in the mail
Like, that's
room.
you right now, man.
Okay.
But, I don't know. Oh, I was talking to Tim about it and he was like, man, he was like, the problem with the police, he goes, because I've been trained like to like in the military and in the military for foreign deployment, like you that he goes, they teach you and ingrain into you that you're the one in control of this situation, and if someone doesn't submit to you, you make them submit by whatever means necessary. You have to control the situation at all costs. So he's like, and that's what they teach you, and it's this warrior's mentality that's meant for war. He's like, but they teach the same thing to cops on the street. And he's like, and that's why this shit happens, because they have been trained as if they're military to go out there and do this. And then you got some dude passing a counterfeit bill that he may or may not know is counterfeit. Everything's not going exactly right. And all of a sudden you kill somebody because you're in this mindset of you're going to submit to me.
Yeah. And what's so annoying is like, I might have talked about this on here before, but the Gracie family, the jiu-jitsu family, like they go around and they train precincts on how to subdue suspects in the most non-violent way. And as far as like the police are still like, I don't believe in the institution of police, but if they're gonna be here, we need the Gracies training every fucking cop in the country, because the techniques and the tactics that they train are so effective in non-violently subduing people who are resisting, who could be violent and could cause danger to other innocent people. But like, I saw one video and that Henry Gracie was doing a breakdown of it, and these two, it was a guy and a female cop, and this guy was like being he was in like the subway and he was being charged, like he was being called there for something like non-violent crime, but he wasn't wanting to cooperate and he was resisting. Like they were saying, you're under arrest, and he was backing up against the wall, and he was like, no, he was kind of a big guy, and the male officer grabs his hand and like tries to pull him a little bit, and he pulls back a little bit, and he just goes, shoot him. And the female officer pulls her gun out and shoots the guy like twice. God. And then the dude runs up the stairs.
The escalator. I saw that.
Yeah, and I think they go up and shoot him a couple more times.
Like, damn, guys.
And it was like, you have no idea what you're doing. Like, and he breaks it down and explains with a few simple like lessons, basically. Mm-hmm. They could have subdued this person. So, because I think at one point they had him on the ground, and he was on the ground flat on his belly, which is like, that's a great start. That's what you want if you're trying to, subdue someone who's resisting. But they let him build that house. They didn't control his feet. They let him be able to, get up on his knees and his arms. And he was bigger than them, so he outpowered them. But you don't have to be stronger to control someone.
Listen, and that's a step past. Like, that's great, because you watch an MMA fight and you're like, okay, if that dude, if I was doing something, or even a huge guy was doing something, and that guy was like, listen, I'm not gonna hit him, I'm not gonna do anything. He could get, one of those dudes could get somebody in a hold and just put them out. Yeah. I mean, it's so effective, that kind of stuff, that they could do that. But on another level, on top of that, like, they're not trained to de-escalate a situation anyway.
Yeah.
Like, guys, maybe it wouldn't lead to this if y'all weren't such pricks.
Yeah.
Like, you walk up and you talk to somebody like you're human, they're not going to treat you like this.
Yeah.
Like, and even that, you can even see that still. Like, because you will see, like, videos of cops, like, where they're, like, even with the protesters, or, like, if they're in the inner city or whatever, when they actually stop being, like, I'm a dick and I'm going to control the situation like that, like, people respond positively to them because they're still people. Like, and so they should train them in that, and they should also train them how to de-escalate situations that don't need to have force used, you know, with like, I don't know, whatever, like verbal conflict management or whatever.
I think they should really just train them to all quit their job all simultaneously.
Yeah.
And just be
Well,
like,
that's what
we're done.
Minneapolis is doing.
I mean,
I don't think
I
it's
just
going to
don't
be.
trust that.
No, it's not. Like,
That's
it's not
shady.
gonna, and it's not gonna work. Like, you can't do it in one city. I really get the feeling like it's going to be this. We tried that, and now,
The epicenter for the martial law.
yes, oh
institution.
yeah, they'll start it there, and I mean, it will be freaking bombs over Baghdad.
Yeah.
Gear up, boys.
I mean, the biggest problem with what we want, which is anarchy, right? The biggest problem with it is that people's minds are not there.
No.
It only works when the mind changes first.
And you
they're
have to have, like, people want to scream for their rights all the time, which is great. Like, you do have rights, but with those come responsibilities. Like, you have the right to this stuff,
Thanks, Uncle
but you
Ben.
have the only
So thanks, Uncle Ben. Spider-Man.
I
Isn't that his Uncle Ben says that?
was
Well, I
thinking
mean,
more
with
of
great
Jordan
power
Peterson.
comes great responsibility.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, but, like, you gotta, like, you have to have the mindset of, okay, no one's gonna take care of me. I have to take care of myself, and I have to do this stuff. And I don't think most of our country is there. Like, I don't think that they're going to.
That's the other big problem, is that they don't want to lead themselves. They don't want the responsibility of protecting themselves.
No.
You know, you would rather give up your rights to have some daddy government taking care of all of it for you, but
they
they're
want
not
their
taking
right
care of it.
to be the government giving them everything
Yeah.
they want.
Right.
Which they don't even understand. They have to take it from someone to
Yeah.
give it to you. They don't have any. They got shit.
They have nothing.
Yeah.
So they either have to take it from the citizenry, or they have to go over to the Middle East and steal some
Steal
oil.
something. Yeah.
They have to do something.
Yep.
Because they don't have anything.
No, how do they make money? We've said this before. They steal it from the masses through taxation. That's how the government funds itself. So if you're wanting something for free from the government,
Like the police
you're
literally
asking them to
just
steal something
can
from someone else.
in some states, and I think they actually may have changed the law, so it's not as bad in Tennessee anymore, but it was really bad in Tennessee for a long time, where the cops could seize your money for no reason, charge you with no crime, take your money if it was like there might have been like a certain amount, but basically it was just if they suspected that it was possibly drug money, then they could seize it without having any evidence of you committing a crime. And so they
That's
would
crazy,
just pull
man.
they were pulling people over who were out of state plates, and like they had 2 or 3 different cases of people who had money. Like one guy was going to buy it was going to open up a new business. So he was traveling across the country with cash to purchase this business. And they pulled him over, and he had it wrapped up in tinfoil in a duffel bag in his trunk. You know, and they said, "Do you have any large amounts of cash?" And he told them no, because he's like thinking, "I don't need to tell you what I have." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and they found that shit and they took it from him, and he was just going to buy a business. Like, and I think he got his money back, but it was really only because like there was a local news station doing a years-long investigation into this extortion game that the police were running, and they I was surprised this local news station like busted the cops out on this.
Yeah.
And that's why cryptocurrency is important. So boys and girls, go buy Ghost by McAfee.
I'll give you
A completely anonymous cryptocurrency.
That's right.
Police can't seize from you, or the banks can't freeze.
Yep.
Ghost.
By McAfee. But yeah, man, like, you know, in Millington, like, they if they find drugs in your car, they can take your car.
Jesus.
Like that's and
insane.
then they have these auto auctions all the time. Because if they even find a little bit of drugs, like I don't think they do it every time, but they have the power
Yeah.
to take your property.
I remember seeing Drugs Inc. used to be one of my favorite shows, and they did a episode in Memphis finally, and I was like, hell yeah, I can't wait for the Memphis episode of Drugs Inc., you know? And so I watched it, and they pull over a guy who was a heroin dealer, and he's driving a Escalade, I think, and they arrested him, sent him to jail or whatever. Later on in the episode, they're gearing up to raid a known drug dealer's house or something like that, and they've got that Escalade out there, and they're using it as a police vehicle. It was it was that guy's car.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, okay, yeah, the guy was selling drugs, but like,
You can't
what
just
gives you
take
the
his
right
shit.
to take his
Yeah.
car?
Yeah,
Like,
It's insane, man.
I hate
I mean, they did that, like, I think when, like, right before we started working at the store, like, they came and raided the store. And
Yeah,
they took.
the Avalanche.
No. This was like a Firebird or some shit
Oh,
they had.
I thought it was a
Yeah.
truck.
No. It was like a late 80s fucking Firebird that one of them was driving around and, took it, impounded it. They never got it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, just they're thieves.
They're thieves, yeah.
They
Sucks,
stole the
like-
$120 out of the register
Yeah.
that got thrown into the ditch behind our business, like, and said they found the register but never gave us the money. What the fuck?
Yep.
You just kept that? You just thought it was just going to be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, this is $120.
See-
Just go in my pocket.
And that's the problem. Like I'm not gonna say. I think if you are a cop, you're doing something that's immoral. Like, and you probably on some level know that because you know that there are really corrupt people that you're covering up for,
Yeah.
and like that's immoral anyway because they're extorting people. But like, really, like these cops are just people, right? And they may be making immoral or bad decisions with their whatever employment, but they also, I don't know, there may be some that think they're doing something noble or whatever. So
I'm sure
like
a lot of them do, yeah.
yeah, when I'm against that, and that's part of the problem. Like when Minneapolis is disbanding the police force, guys, y'all aren't cutting the head off the snake. That snake's doing that right now. So whatever the fuck they got planned to do next, it's going to be worse.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Absolutely, because you're not. Like you said,
They're the problem.
Yeah.
And and that's what I was listening to. What's this? He's a black guy, but he's like a conservative dude. Larry, can't remember his last name now, but he's like a political pundit. Like I think he writes books, and he's also on like he'll be on like the news sometimes. But like he was talking in an old video about the Baltimore. You remember the Freddie Gray guy that got put in the back of the van, and then he ended up with a broken neck somehow or whatever. It was a black guy. This
vaguely
is
remember that,
years ago. So whatever. Like it seemed real shady, but he just went through it all because he was asking. It was an interview with him and Dave Rubin, and Dave Rubin was kind of liberal and was like, I know that there's systematic racism, and he was like, give me an example, and like the guy, Dave Rubin said, well, what about this Freddie Gray thing? And he said, let's look at that. He said he just went through it all. He's like, the arresting officer was black, the AG's black, the mayor's black, the city council's 100% Democrat, the city is completely run by Democrats, like there's nothing. And then he just went through, he's like, the police force is 60% African American, like all that stuff. And he goes, so where does the systematic racism fit in?
Yeah.
He goes, because it is completely run by Democrats and African Americans.
Yeah, so when does it
So,
stop
yeah.
being that and start being exactly what it is, which is that the police are corrupt
And the government.
and the
that
government
sends their little flunkies out
Exactly.
there.
Exactly. They're just little arms that get told what to do. Those arms go out and abuse everyone's rights, and has nothing to do with race. It never has, and it never will.
No.
It's a power trip. They're tyrants.
And there
They
may
don't
be
care
some
what color
racist
you
ones.
are.
Oh yeah, there are.
Of
Yeah.
course, you're going to have individuals,
Yeah.
but the system is not. That's not what it is. This is tyranny. These people want to control every aspect of everything that you do.
And also, I mean, what's funny is there may be some systematic racism because stuff like this happens. The media, the politicians whip the African American community up, saying, "Look, all the white people want you, whatever."
Yes.
And then they're doing that, so you keep voting for them. And it's funny because Antifa or what out there burning stuff, saying they don't want fascism, but they're supporting the most fascist people, which are just the farthest left they can get. Like, because I think we've talked about it, like Democrats and Republican politicians, there's not a lot of difference between them. But if you just look at their policies, the farther left that they go on the political spectrum right now in America, like AOC and those kind of people are the most fascist people in the country.
Yeah, dude.
Like, they'll say that they're not, but they absolutely are. They want to police everything from the way people worship to their speech to they want to tax them more. They are the definition of fascism.
Yeah, you can't do anything outside of their guidelines.
Yeah.
Like if it's outside of it, you're
Yeah.
crucified.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the thing. I really wish, I don't know, I really wish that if people would understand, like, they are trying to divide people in every way that they can.
Yeah.
Men, women, black, white, gay, straight, all of that stuff. And they are letting it happen and play into it.
Yeah.
If they would realize that's not, like, who cares? Like, I'm not a supporter of just transgenderism or whatever in and of itself. Like, I wouldn't do that. I don't think it's healthy for someone to do that. But I don't give a crap if my neighbor's like that.
Sure.
And I would much rather stand with somebody that is a transgender individual that understands individual liberty than somebody that is a straight, white, looks like me, does all this stuff, but wants
piece of shit.
but wants people to like
Submit to his fucking way of living.
I know a guy that fits that exact definition, and he one time said that he wanted if somebody was caught with marijuana, he thinks we should rip their fingernails off. So fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I would much rather sit with that. And I think this person is probably like Bailey. She's like a famous transgender, like man to woman. Like, you'd never know it looking at this.
Bailey J.
But yes, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Is she like really conservative, political kind of thing?
I don't know.
She's kind of libertarian. I think her name's Bailey. Whatever. Like, she's like a libertarian kind of thing, and I'd much rather sit next to her than the guy that wants the fingernail ripped off of the person that's smoking weed.
It doesn't matter what you believe. If you want to try to enslave other people, which is what you're doing when you say shit like that, right? Because if they don't agree with you, then you want them to be punished. And if that's who you are, then you're no better than the people you hate, because they're trying to do the same thing to you.
Yeah.
They don't like you because you don't agree with them and your views don't match up, and everybody wants to try to enslave the other ones and try to force them to be something that they are. And that's not freedom. Freedom is that we all are different, and we go out, and the main goal, the main thing that unites us all is our liberties and our freedoms. You do whatever you want over there across the street, I'll do whatever I want over here, and we're not going to hurt each other.
Yeah.
And if we don't, everyone can live in peace. We don't have to agree. We don't have to think each other's lifestyles are right or wrong. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is that we live in freedom, we pay the consequences for our actions, and we don't hurt each other because we don't agree with each other.
Yeah.
And that right there was the uniting factor that they are constantly trying to break apart. They are constantly trying to drive these wedges. Well, that guy's not like you. You shouldn't like him.
Yeah.
Why is he doing that?
Yeah.
And it's so obvious at this point to me, you know what I'm saying, and to a lot of people that I know. But man, everyone is so blind to it. They just buy right into the fucking game of they're not like me, so I shouldn't like them. And no one's saying you have to like what they do, but you have no right to stop them from what they're doing.
And honestly, it would serve everybody a little bit better to just go, hey, think about this. Is what they're doing affecting you? Like, I don't, again, with the homosexuality, like saying, I don't want to do that. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it makes most people happy. But if my neighbor's doing it, I don't care.
No.
Because he's in that house.
Yeah.
I'm over here.
Right. It doesn't matter.
I can have a conversation with him.
That's freedom.
Yeah.
That's liberty. That's what we want. We want people
Stop
to be
trying to
able,
control everybody.
Exactly. Do what you want to do. Just don't hurt other people.
Heard a Coulter Wall song today. I think I'd heard it before, but I never really caught the line. And he just says in one part of the song, "Don't trust no politicians. Look to yours, and I'll look to mine." And it's just like a very simple line.
Yeah.
And it's that basic
it.
principle of just take care of your shit. I'll take care of my shit, and everything will be good.
Absolutely, man.
Like,
Absolutely. But that's the thing. It's so annoying because you have so many people on the right. They're all about their freedom, 1776, just patriots, but they can't let other people be free.
No.
Yeah.
They refuse to let people that disagree with what their values be free. And that's not freedom. You don't know anything about freedom. You are repeating things that you've heard. You don't even understand the word freedom.
Well, I think the left and the right play on the fears of people.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, did you guys ever see that movie American Beauty?
I never have.
Man, you guys need to. I don't want to ruin it, so I'm not going to use that as an example. But you guys gotta watch that fucking movie. It's great.
I've
One of the
always
best movies
heard of
I've
it
ever
and
seen.
just never seen it.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
Yeah. Anyway, but like
you have it?
I do.
Okay, I'll borrow it.
does it have
Okay.
Ashton Kutcher in it?
No, it's got
that's-
Kevin Spacey.
I'm thinking of something else, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's got Kevin Spacey and I don't know if it's got anybody else that I know in it, but
At least
anyway.
one pedophile.
Just one. Yeah, there's probably a few. They're probably sprinkled
Couple
in
more.
there. You throw in directors and people own
yeah.
the studios, might as well. But anyway, like I think everybody's conditioned to like the dude. They've been taught, oh no, if these people over there think that way, they're gonna ruin society, and they're not.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they can't do anything to you that you don't let them. And honestly, like if my neighbor is believing something and I don't have a good reason for it and he has a better reason for believing it than what I have to believe, I need to question what I'm thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But even if you don't and you want to stay blind to whatever knowledge he has, as long as you don't try to stop him
Yeah.
and he doesn't try to stop you and neither one of you are
Yeah.
causing any harm to each other, then you're still both
Well,
fine.
This is a very trivial example, but the people across the street, I think I'm not a fan because they got all the. Long story short, like I move in over here, like I'm just going about my business. They start bitching to all the neighbors because I don't wave at them. They said they waved at me and I didn't wave back. That is bullshit. No one ever waved at me, and I would have, out of obligation, waved back had they waved at me, but they did not. But it doesn't matter. Like so, and they're also have done couple other weird things that I'm not a fan, right? But like if I look out my window and I see somebody in there, like over there vandalizing their house or doing something, I'm gonna go over there, with a gun and be like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah, what are
Sure.
you doing?
Like because I don't have to agree with them. I don't want to hang out with them. I don't want to have dinner with them.
Sure.
But
you're not going to let
that's
somebody
not their- yeah.
destroy their property
Yeah.
or fuck with their shit. I mean, they're
Yeah.
our neighbor.
Yeah. And I think if everybody would just live like that,
Dude, yeah, we could change overnight. We could really we could live without police. We really could. We wouldn't need a government either because we would all be leading ourselves and living free and not hurting each other.
And I think you would find a lot of, because I mean there are people who need help, who can't always do something for themselves or can't protect themselves or this or that. But like I think you'd find that kind of kindness and that willingness to help people, genuinely help people, would be so much more in that kind of a situation because people are going to be happy overall.
Mm-hmm.
Just being free. Being
Yep.
free makes you
Being
fucking
free.
happy, and being
Nobody's
happy
holding you
makes you
back.
fucking want to make other people happy, and
Yep.
helping people can make you happy, and
Yeah.
it's like,
and the more you mingle this diverse set of ideas, and by diverse I don't mean what the media means, like every different skin color and ethnicity,
Multiculturalism.
that just you have to accept everything about what they came from. But I
Right.
mean like a difference in ideas mainly. Like, and that comes from other cultures or whatever, other nationalities too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But like, what we should do is be looking at all of these ideas we all have and trying to discard the useless ones and accept the ones that are useful and are true. But we're not doing that, and that's the worst lies are the ones that are mixed with a little bit of truth.
Yeah,
like,
man.
right? And that's like diversity of ideas is a good thing because it forces us all to question what we're believing and that. But they say, no, diversity, everything about that. Well, what about the rabbis that circumcised kids with their teeth?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is that culturally good?
Right.
What
Can
about
we not
the
say?
13-year-old girl who just got her head cut off by her father in Iran the other day because she ran away with an older man
Yeah.
who she was brainwashed into running away with a 35-year-old man at 13 years old, victimized by 2 different men, ended up losing her head,
Yeah.
and her father went into the police station with the fucking farming sickle that he cut her head off with and said, "I killed my daughter."
Yeah.
And it's an honor killing, so he's going to do maybe 12 years.
Yeah.
And the only people who can request a more harsh sentencing like the death penalty, which would be appropriate, is the victim's family. But honor killings are typically done within a family, and the rest of the family is not going to say to kill the head of their household.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So he's going to do
It's
the
fine.
minimum for chopping his
Yeah.
daughter's head off.
That's shit. Or
You
even,
can't. That I don't accept that, and
No.
I don't think that all Muslims are that
No.
way. They don't.
No.
That would be fucking ignorant to
I
think.
think, yeah,
Yeah.
But
of course.
But that is a part of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be small or whatever, that you can't accept. You have to deny.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
that's
because
it's
that-
horrible.
that it breaks natural law. I mean, you're harming someone,
Yes.
right? So on those things, I think we all have an obligation to stand up against those types of things, right? Where you're that's evil, that's wrong, and that's not just me disagreeing with you on some sort of like, well, I'm not going to be gay, but you can be gay over
Yeah.
there. That's completely different than this
Oh,
this
yeah.
particular situation. And in this situation, I mean, like I said, I think as just the human race, we have an obligation to not allow shit like that. You know,
But we can't actively discern that because postmodernism and media and the elites, they want no. It
all has to be accepted.
and they won't speak out against that, and they won't, and I'm sure Muslim, like Caleb was saying, it's not just the Islamic community. They're probably looking at us going, hey, and what about you guys that are giving hormone therapy to your fucking 7-year-olds?
Yeah.
Like, what about that shit?
Yeah.
That's not. Those kids don't have the mental faculties to make those decisions yet.
Yeah.
And y'all are wanting to cut their genitals off just so you can virtue signal and put something on Facebook. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of that disgusting stuff. And honestly, even cultures that don't have something that egregious, there's stuff that we need to get rid of.
yeah,
And like, for instance, and something that's very relevant to the situation right now, in America, we need to stop holding people of a skin color accountable for everything that skin color ever did in history.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Something
ridiculous.
needs to just be let go because that's, yeah, man.
And the same on both sides of like, don't hold an entire race accountable for the horrible actions currently of any race that are happening. Like, and there are a lot of racist white people who are like, they see real criminals who are African American doing bad things, and they're so fucking ignorant, and they just throw that blanket over the whole fucking race, and
Yeah.
it's like, how dumb are you? Like,
Yeah.
they've been. I feel like it's more of a programming
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, man.
than
It's the height
know.
of ignorance. Like, I mean, because I was robbed by 3 African American men at gunpoint or whatever. What's the guy's name that used to come into Smoke Signals that we've talked about having on here before?
Yeah, Gilly.
Yeah, Gilly. Like, if I can't in 2 seconds talking to that guy see that he is nothing like the
Right.
guys that did that, like, that's
Yeah,
I'm an idiot.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man. It's the whole. It's just they want to group everybody into groups and take all individuality away from everyone. and it's a huge problem.
Yeah.
Man. It's a huge problem.
And the problem
is we're all individuals.
Yeah, and what I've noticed a lot is like they create a victim class that is upset. They convince them that everybody's out to get them,
Mm-hmm.
and then like people that I know that are trying to be sympathetic to that are white people that are feeding this narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's all inverted because it's like, dude, I know you're trying to. Well, I don't know what you're trying to do because I can't read your motivation, but
Sure.
You're giving you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you're trying to do something pure here, like, and try to stand up for these people. But what you're doing is playing into racism. You're making it worse.
Yeah.
Because they're making statements on the other side of white people have ruined the world,
Yeah.
basically by colonizing things,
Right.
and that all white people are the same. And how you don't see that as a egregious racist statement,
Of course.
and it's just consistency. Like if I can replace white and black, and you can see how egregious it is when you say black, but you don't see it when it's white.
Right.
You're
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Because, yeah. If you can just replace one with the other, but one's okay and one's not, then you've lost it.
Yeah. There's no consistency.
You've lost all consistency with your argument.
And you think you're helping them, but what's going to happen is, like, every day that we perpetrate this stuff, it just drives people more apart.
Mm-hmm.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy because there's no group of people that's just going to hate themselves, like, for any long period of time. And that's what you're wanting to happen with white people. You're wanting them to hate themselves and feel, people that have never done anything wrong to anybody in their life, to feel sorry, like, because of their skin
fault.
color.
Yep.
Like it's their fault. Like, you're going to get some people to do that because some people are more geared towards that. They're just passive, agreeable, that kind of thing. But most people aren't. And so you're pushing them, radicalizing them this way. You're being radicalized this way. And it's just going to end in a horror show.
Yep. And that's what it's going to end in. Because you're creating, like you said, you're splitting even white people in half, because you got half of them that, like you said, are going to, and they probably are in their own head coming from a good place, thinking, well, we need. I mean, like,
to
think
be
about
doing
like
this.
when I first started getting into this kind of stuff. Like, me and you used to argue a lot about like transgenderism and things like that, and I am a very empathetic person, and I care a lot about other people, and so like I fell into that just deep because like it on the surface, that's what they're tell you, is that like, hey, you should care about other people, you should, you know what I mean,
Right.
like, but it's like, once I really saw what they were doing, it's like, no, you're just brainwashing people to fall into lunacy, and not really like, you're not teaching people to treat everyone as an individual. You know what I mean? It's groups and groups, and you know, identity politics and that bullshit. And it all comes down to like the most basic war tactic of all time: divide and conquer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's the most effective, and it's the one that they've used time and time again. And that's exactly what they're doing to us right now.
It's like, God damn it, people. Fucking wake up. Like,
Yeah.
damn it.
We are the people.
Because-
like, we,
Stop
as in
letting
all
them
of us,
fuck with your
are
heads.
one.
And that's what they're doing. They're all fucking with your heads. They're just constantly fucking with your mind.
Yeah.
Everything that happens is a giant psyop. Like, that's exactly what it is. Almost everything. It's just psychological fuck you constantly.
Yep.
And I get it, man, because that's like, it's the easiest way to manipulate people, man. We don't understand our own psyche, and people can twist it and turn it and make us believe things, and it's the best tactic they have. But you can wake up, you can go, no, I'm not going to let them divide us. Like, we don't have to do this.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, take all this shit out of it, right? Take all of the political, Democrat, Republican, like what a black person's supposed to think, what a white person's supposed to think, out of it, and you go spend time with the average person on the other side of that, and you're not going to have problems with them.
No.
Like, I mean, as a white guy, took my son to a Chuck E. Cheese in an area that I was definitely the minority in, a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Went in there and played. Like, he was playing with the kids. I was talking to the parents. Everybody was having a good time.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's getting along.
Right.
They're the ones, the media, the elites, the celebrities, the
They're
government.
driving
They're
this
the ones
bullshit.
fucking with you. They're
Driving
the
it.
ones teaching you to hate
Yep.
these other people.
Yep. And you don't have to, and you don't have to listen to them, and you can, I don't know, change your mind. You don't have to be brainwashed by them. You don't have to
Yeah.
submit to this mind control.
Yeah.
Which is what it is. I mean,
Because
turn
they're-
your television off.
Yeah. Yeah, turn the news off. If you're watching
Definitely.
Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, Fox, any of that shit,
Any
just
of
turn it
it.
off.
Just turn it off.
They're
Stop.
lying to you. They're playing you for a fool.
Yep.
And they're so goddamn good at it.
Yeah. And they mix, and it's the thing we just talked about. They mix truth with a lie. So it's not just something egregious on either side of it. I can listen to Tucker Carlson talk, and I can agree with 75% of what the man
Yep.
says. But that other 25% shit that he slips
Yep.
in there
Yeah.
or omits completely when he knows
yeah, when
better
he
than
knows.
I know.
He knows.
Like, that's
Or like
shit.
the time where a guy called him out for taking dirty money from people on air, and they decided to not air it because Tucker started cussing him out and calling him a piece of shit motherfucker. And the dude who called him out recorded it from his side, so
Yeah.
he had the whole thing and he posted it. But Fox didn't air that segment. And
course not.
The guy called him out. And I don't remember who exactly he claimed he was taking money from, but I think this guy did his fucking research, because as soon as he called out Fox first, and Tucker kind of you could tell his mood kind of changed, because at first they were being friendly, and Tucker was like, man, it's so great what you did at this convention you went to, because you called out all of these people, and it was like he called out a bunch of liberals.
Yeah.
And so Tucker had him on and was like, yeah, let's talk about how you
Yeah.
call these liberals out on their bullshit. And the guy's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then said, like Fox, you guys do the same thing, and you don't report on things all the time that you feel like you shouldn't, even though you should. And you guys take money from blah, blah, blah. And he's like, and you personally are taking money from so-and-so. And you know you're taking dirty money, Tucker. And he's like, this is fucking ridiculous. Fuck you, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
And just goes off. And it was like, I've seen Tucker get people try to challenge him on things, and he's very good. And it's like when something's clearly bullshit, and when they make something about him, he just laughs it off and moves on. That man hit the nail on the head with that allegation. You could tell from his reaction. It was like, you're a fucking dirty piece of shit. And it's like you said, 75, and sometimes 90% of the things he says are I completely agree with.
Yeah.
But he's a corrupt piece of shit that won't report on certain things just because his bosses say not to.
And he would not have a prime time cable television show if he was clean.
Yeah.
And that's my whole point. Even people I bet if you put me and Tim Pool down at this table, philosophically, we'd probably disagree on half the shit that we talked about. But so far, that dude seems to be honestly looking for the truth.
Yeah.
So I respect him a lot more. And what is he doing? He's got a YouTube channel that he's had to fight that they've
even
tried to
just
fuck with him.
keep. Yeah.
Yeah, because and that's what I'm that dude who leans liberal more than anything. He seems to be. But if you got anybody on any of these, they're already bought and paid for.
Mm-hmm. It's over.
They're up there for a reason, and that's what's crazy. Everybody knows it when they're dealing with a scummy car salesman or something. They're like, okay, this dude's just saying this because he can get something out of me, whatever. We see it on these small scales that people are doing, but these guys are playing for fucking countries and billions of fucking dollars, and you think that they're being straight up with you?
Yeah, why?
Why would you think that?
Yeah.
Why would you fucking think that?
Then here's where the doublethink comes in, because every election, I've said this before, you hear every election year, well, we got to pick the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
They know these people are fucking wrong and evil and bad.
Yeah.
But and it's what the fuck is wrong with you? You're literally going, yeah, we need them. They're good. I'm going to listen to these guys, and they're going to tell me what I need to do and how I need to be, everything, to keep me safe. I better listen to all they're saying. But it's but you're also at the same time, they're fucking full of shit, and they're corrupt.
And they would never get there if they weren't.
Yes.
And it's
crazy.
I don't know.
You don't have to succumb to this, people. You don't have to listen to it. You don't have to deal with it. Think for yourself. Lead yourself. We can change the world.
You look to yours, I'll look to mine.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I don't know. You want to end it?
We can. We're well over an hour, I think.
All right. We appreciate it. We'll see you next week.